Is this the end of Pokemon Duel? What's good? It's your boy Rico. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Duel. And I told you we were going to get some sort of news. I mean, did the devs pick up the ball or did they continue to drop the ball? That is the question for today's episode, and I think they continue to drop the ball, but is it their fault? I mean, we did get this notice. As you can tell, we are going to be getting the Dusk Wing or the Dawn Wing and Dusk Mane Necrozma. Super cool, and it looks like we're gonna be getting Z moves, but this is for early 2019, so we have at least another month and a half before we even get these figures. And now that doesn't mean that we won't get a banner for December. We might, we just do not know. So I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm kind of sad we didn't get a trailer to see cooler things, but if we don't get a banner for December, I'm kind of okay with it because I want them to take their time with this update because we need something new and refreshing to the game. But that's even if the game is around anymore, because there is a bigger issue at hand. Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. I woke up this morning to a message from Divani on Discord, right? And I open up Reddit and come across this important Netherlands end of service. Many players have enjoyed playing Pokemon Duel since the English language version of the game became available in January 2017, but we are sorry to inform you that from this time on January 10th, 2019, the game will no longer be playable in the Netherlands. We would like to take this opportunity to thank you for playing Pokemon Duel, and we have enjoyed your time with the game. Stoppage for paid sales. On December 10th, 2018, it will no longer be possible to purchase paid items such as gems. You can continue using gems until the end of service, January 10th, 2019. I don't know what it says right here for end of service. So it made me wonder, are there other gacha games that have this implemented as well? Because I mean, it seems it's a thing by their government. And as I continue to read down the comments, this comes from Not Wish Vanth. Belgium Dokkan players, DBZ Dokkan, I believe, Dokkan Battle, right? Players cannot purchase Dragon Stones. So this is a main issue. And then there's this article from the Eurogaming.net, which was published on April. So let's kind of read over this and kind of dissect it a little bit, okay? The Netherlands declares some loot boxes are gambling. Now here's what we can debate, guys, in the comments below. Is it or is it not gambling? The Netherlands have determined some loot boxes are gambling and warned game video publishers to modify their loot boxes to remove addiction-sensitive elements before mid-June. Now, when this Netherlands government comes out and they're telling games that they need to modify their loot boxes to remove the addiction-sensitive elements, what do you think that says to a company? To me, a company's like, these visuals help our money, help our income, help our stream afloat, all right? Why would we pertain to one particular market, which is the Netherlands, versus everything in North America, everything in Asia? To me, as a company, I would be like, one loss is not worth a lot of loss. But then here comes the question. Pokemon Duel, it's not that big of a game. It's not a global game. There are still countries that do not have this game. And now we're going to have more countries that don't have this game. I mean, sure, the people in the countries that don't have this game, they can get it by getting an American version or Canadian version or another version of iTunes or Google Store. They can download the game there. But now it's going to be even harder for them to play and to stay competitive because they can't use their own currency. That is a major issue. So Pokemon Duel, I think they should have thought like, okay, if their government, the Netherlands government, approached us and they gave us this option, like get rid of the rainbow lights, this would be a very difficult decision. They would really have to look at the demographics. They would really have to look at how many people are actually playing the game, how many active users they are, and make a real educated decision on if they're going to do that or not. And I think they're dropping the ball because I think Europe is going to start enforcing this in multiple countries. So I mean, dude, it's tough. The Dutch Gaming Authority said it had looked into 10 or into loot boxes in 10 games. It sounds like they picked the 10 most popular games on Twitch and found 4 contravened its betting and gaming act. It said the content of the loot boxes was determined by chance. Crucially, the prizes could be traded outside of the game. Therefore, the prizes have a market value. Okay, so do you guys think that it's actually gambling? Like, I can see why they say it's gambling. I mean, by definition, let's take a look at what gambling is. Play games of chance for money. To bet. Take risky action in hope of a desired result. So does getting gems, how does spending money on gems, does that pertain to gambling? I mean, you are spending your own money. You're playing a game, I guess, which would be opening these boxes for a chance to get, you know, the preferred figure. Even though God, what's the word I'm looking for? It tells you what the odds are. It tells you what the odds are of getting this figure, right? And then it also says, therefore, the prices have a market value. Does it have a market value? I mean, people sell their accounts, and you're spending money for in-game currency, gems. Yes, I can see how it is deemed as gambling, but is gambling the issue, or is it addiction? Addiction and gambling, they're two separate things. Let's continue reading. Offering this type of game of chance to Dutch players without a license is prohibited, the Dutch Gaming Authority concluded. The Gaming Authority did not reveal the 4 games it found to contravene its betting and gaming act, but didn't stop Dutch broadcaster NOS, thanks Dutch News, for naming and shaming FIFA 18, Dota 2, Players on Ground or PUBG, and Rocket League. 4 games out of 10. 4 games out of 10, and they're cracking down. That's 40% of the games that the 10 most popular games, and they're cracking down on it. I don't think 40% is enough to enforce anything, because again, gambling and addiction are 2 different things, and that's not even the issue here. The main issue here is discipline. So to me, this issue is like, all right, it's like doctors and medicine. If you're sick, what do? They give you medicine. They don't heal you. They help stabilize you. They don't address what the real issue is. If you're, say you're diabetic, or they give you, you know, whatever. I'm just using that as a reference. Okay, this might be bad, but they give you medicine to handle it, but they don't necessarily like, okay, now you're gonna have to have like a low carb diet. There's other things you can do. Like, they can teach you about nutrition. You can exercise more. It's like when the faucet is on in a sink, okay? And what we try to do, and how I value this, or how I see this, is medicine is like, all right, we need to stop the water from going down the drain. So what should we do? All right, let's build this like bridge that captures the water and makes the water go an alternate route down somewhere else, some other drain. That's not the issue, man. The issue is the faucet. Just turn the faucet off. That's what I see here. People need to be more disciplined. They need to be more disciplined, and that starts, you know, with their environment, with what they teach them, their community, how they grow up. That's the issue. That's the issue. It's not gambling. It's not addiction. Although those things are necessarily, I don't want to say bad, but, you know, addiction kind of is bad. Well, it depends. But anyway, let's continue on. These games are interesting in that they do not facilitate the sale of virtual goods for real-world money within the games themselves, but that doesn't stop people from making money from the loot boxes items elsewhere. As I've reported, as FIFA, you can most definitely cash out. Well, okay, Pokemon Duel, you can't necessarily cash out. I mean, there are people who sell their accounts, but there's people who spend thousands of dollars on their accounts and sell it for a fraction of that. So doesn't really pertain to us that much, not that much. So it sounds like these 4 games now need gambling license to operate in the Netherlands, but there's a more general addiction warning about all loot boxes in video games. The Gaming Authority said all of the loot boxes that were studied could be addictive. Again, addiction, gambling, 2 separate things. Loot boxes are similar in gambling games such as slot machines, roulette, in terms of design and mechanism. I agree. I agree with that. As a result, the Gaming Authority demanded publishers and developers modify loot boxes with addiction-sensitive elements. That is, they must remove almost winning effects, visual effects, and the ability to keep opening loot boxes quickly one after the other. They must also implement measures to exclude vulnerable groups or demonstrate the loot boxes on offer are harmless. Again, this is a business. Okay, games, this is a business, and they have these cool visual effects because yes, they do want you to spend money. They want you to keep coming back. But do you really think that myself as a company am going to stop what I'm doing just for one market, one small market? Hell no. Hell no. My family's got to eat, you know? But again, Pokemon Duel should look at this and say, well, how big is our market? Where are our demographics? If we do this, or if we don't do this, I guess, if we don't get rid of the rainbows, how many people is that going to affect? I don't think it's going to affect anybody. I don't think it's going to make anybody quit. It's not going to make me quit the game. Yeah, I'm going to complain about it and wish that it was still there, but we're still going to retain these other players. We're losing players, man. For a small market like Pokemon Duel, I think they should have thought otherwise. How might this work? Well, most loot boxes have fancy visual effects that help make their opening exciting, so perhaps a patch to remove these effects would do the trick. And maybe developers could add a cooldown on the opening of loot boxes to prevent people opening loads quickly. I don't know about that. Like, I mean, Pokemon Duel has a limit. I think you can only spend $500. So, I mean, there is something implemented. So, what if the companies in question do not comply? The Gaming Authority said on the 20th of June 2018 it may instigate enforcement action against providers of games of chance with loot boxes that do not adhere to this norm. The action includes fines or ban. Damn, dude. This latest dramatic development comes after a prolonged and increased scrutiny on loot boxes and the vociferous debate about whether they should be considered gambling. Eurogamer reported on this issue last year following the Star Wars Battlefront 2 debacle. Currently, the UK does not consider loot boxes to be gambling, but it said it is looking into matters further. The Dutch situation is interesting in that it has determined loot boxes can be considered gambling and set a deadline for change. It'll be interesting to see if EA, Valve, and Co. comply. For its part, the Netherlands Gaming Authority sounds pretty serious. Well, I mean, look what we have here. To date, the supervisory body has not been able to establish that providers of the games implement control measures to exclude vulnerable groups such as minors to prevent addiction. It said the Netherlands Gaming Authority puts the protection of vulnerable groups such as minors first. Again, what I think this actually comes down to is discipline, man. Discipline. How you were raised. Your environment in which you grew up in. They need to be teaching that rather than stripping, I mean, I don't want to say rights, but stripping away opportunities and possibilities. Like, this is actually stripping the opportunity for somebody to make something of themselves. Let's just imagine, what if I was in the Netherlands, right? What if it was my dream to be a Pokemon Duel YouTuber? That's all I wanted in my life. They are basically taking that from me. Taking that from me because of their lack of discipline, in my opinion. Unfortunately, there's not much, you know, this is the government, man. Is it Pokemon Duel or is it the government that we should be mad at? And even so, like, does that even really matter? There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do to change the government. I mean, I'm not from the Netherlands. My voice doesn't matter. But I think Pokemon Duel, like, because the market is so small, I think they should have complied. In my opinion, I think they should have complied. And also, I don't think that would have changed the outcome. I think people still would have bought. I don't think it would have slowed anything down, especially in the, you know, in the Dutch area or the Netherlands. So, you know, I'm really sad to see Divani go, and, you know, a bunch of other people from the Netherlands. Like I said, you guys can play the game. You can have like an American version, Canadian version, but you can't spend money. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's a way around it, but too many obstacles, man. So this is a sad day. No Duel. I honestly want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Please, let's have a debate in the comments below. Please keep it healthy. I don't want anybody, you know, like, you know, saying anything negative or yelling at each other. So let's just have a nice debate, and then we'll be streaming here shortly Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, as always, peace.